What's up, church family? How are you guys? It's Janice Batista up in this piece right now. And I know that I normally do these videos, amen, in my other page, but I felt the need to do it on this page for this video for this particular reason. So I just want to, like I said, clear the air a little bit more, because this topic has gotten out of hand and a lot of people have gotten offended by what I said. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I am not gonna apologize on what I said, but I am gonna give you guys a little bit more of a foundation. I'm gonna give what I said a little bit more foundation and a little bit more weight than it already has. And the reason why I say that is because, for example, if you look on my page, right, I posted up another comment, because this is what I'm gonna start doing. When you come for me publicly, I'm not even gonna delete your comment. I'm gonna leave your comment right there, because I don't even care anymore who has something negative to say. Like, if you're gonna be the negative person and that's how you want to be known, as the person that went up against Pastora Janice Batista and you didn't agree with me, if you want to sit at that table, then you know what, you can go ahead and sit at that table. It's no problem, because like I always said before, I don't have a problem sitting by myself and eating by myself at my own table, because like I said, the only person that I gotta be obedient with is God, because at the end of the day, God is going to hold me accountable for the things that I do and the things that I say. So a lot of people, they want to accommodate the gospel to be something that's beneficial for them and not beneficial for Christ, right? So when Christ died on the cross of Calvary for us, right, so that we can have a good life, right? He died, he rose again. He's the one who did everything for us, right? And in return, all he asked us to do was to enjoy life and to be obedient, right, with the foundation that he has already laid down for us. So when this girl wrote me out of left field, right, she was talking all proper, right? She was like, oh, I hold, we supposed to hold people at high esteem and blah, blah, blah. Like, like she was just talking really proper. That's why I put the message, right? Because you got to be careful with these wolves that speak real proper. Like, yo, I may not be able to speak all proper like everybody else, and you could call me a tecata, ghetto, whatever the heck you want to call me, you could call me that. But one thing you cannot say is that, my heart is not beating for God, and my heart is not on fire for God, because my heart is consistently on fire. It's been being molded, it's been being molded, it's been being pruned. I've been going through so much all these years, and man, with everything that I've seen, I thank God that I haven't, thrown in the gloves. Because people, right, when you look at this, when she got upset because of what I said, right, look at the posting that I said, right? I said on that posting, you cannot be lavishing yourself. Like, I didn't say it was nothing wrong with wearing extensions, hair extensions. I wear hair extensions. I have hair extensions in the crib, in the house. It's nothing wrong with buying a wig. Look, I got a wig on right now. It's nothing wrong with spending money on yourself because you want to look good, okay? You want to look good. You want your nails to be popping. You want your toenails to be popping, right? There's nothing wrong with you looking good, and especially if you married, because if you a married woman, right, you want to look good for your husband. You want to look good for your, you just want to feel good about yourself, right? But this is the problem. This is where people are confused and they get it twisted, and they want to try to misinterpret what I said, like I'm stupid and like I'm a dummy and like I'm a pastor with no credentials, right? Because what I said doesn't fit what they want to hear, right? So you sitting there telling me that as a pastor, you looking up to me to tell you what's right, and I'm supposed to lead the flock with truth, right? But when the truth doesn't fit your lifestyle, you want to get offended and then say, I may not be a man, a woman, a God, I may not be a prophet of God, because that's how a lot of people like to do, right? That's how they like to do church. That's how they like to do the gospel. That's how they like to do people in general. And for those of you that are on there, please share this video so your followers could definitely see. And like I said, if a lot of you guys haven't seen me on this channel, is because I have another page where I do my lives. That's why I've been doing all my lives there, and I've been doing my lives, and everything I do there is on my YouTube channel. That's why I haven't really been posting on the live on this one, right? But this is the problem that we dealing with nowadays, right? So everybody is supposed to give their 10%, including pastors, even me. I cannot make no new rules and be like, well, everybody in the church got to give 10%, but because we the pastors, we don't got to give 10%. That only applies to you little flocks. No, because then God would hold me accountable for what happened, right? Monique, you gotta rewind it. It's people that don't like to hear, people that have a problem with the 10%, and people, want to come from me on my page because of what I said and what I stand for. So at the end of the day, right, listen to this. The church, everybody got to give their 10%, right? Including the pastors. I already went through that, right? Peep this. If a church is small, right, and it got only 10 members in it, okay, only 10 members. If everybody in there is making at least $1,000, God is asking you to give only $100 for your household. Now, if the husband is working and he's making $1,000, then the family should be contributing, right, $200. I don't have to tell you math. I don't got to tell you 2 + 2. When I go to a restaurant and I go to eat, I don't know sometimes what to tip people, but what do? I'll go to Google and I type in my calendar and I'll be like, what's an appropriate tip for my tab, right? Because I want to give the waitress who was working to serve me and my husband and a family, I want to give her an appropriate tip. So if it may be $7, I may be feeling generous and be like, I'm gonna give you 10, right? Because there is a difference between a tithe and an offering. If you make only $1,000 and you give your $100, that is your tithe, okay? Your tithe, what you're supposed to give for your tithing. If you give $50 on top of that, that's what you consider an offering. See, people that give tithes are obedient, but people who give offerings are generous. That is the difference between the two. So if a person, right, doesn't have money to, let's say you got $1,000 and you scrambling, right? Let's say that you don't even got it like that to give an offering. I don't know what you got and what you don't got, right? I don't know what's in your bank account. But like I said, the girl must have got really upset and she must have got really pissed off with me with what I said, because what I said, it wasn't what her little itchy ears wanted to hear. So pastors, they want to scheme God and give God crumbs, right? So basically, you want to look good. You want to have the most popping sneakers. You want to have the most popping hair, the most popping Louis Vuitton bags, the little Yeezys, right? But then the house of God, you want the pastors to be selling hot dogs, right? In front of the church, because you don't want to be obedient. But if the church only had 10 members, I don't even care if the church is big or not, okay? If the church only got 10 members and everybody is making at least $1,000, then guess what? What the church is making is enough for the pastor and his wife to pay the church rent. Because wherever they at, the church gotta pay rent. Like, people think that God, like pastors have like magical poop. Like, you just go to the bathroom, and I'm sorry, I'll keep it real, and this is how I am, and this is how I talk. Like, you think like people, like pastors just crap gold, or they just crap in money. It doesn't work like that. Like, you think there's an angel or something that's coming down from above, and he's sending them to the house of God and saying to the angels, hey, make sure you give this duffel bag to pastors, to all these pastors. Like, they think that, people gotta be like Santa Claus, and it doesn't work like that. Pastors who have a church have to work over 40 hours a week. Any reputable pastor that is in charge of families gotta put in over 40 hours a week. So they taking that money, they taking away from their family, okay, to be able to serve God, right? And serve ministry and do ministry. And you think that by scheming God and giving your little crumbs to the pastors that they should be thankful for that, right? And I'm here to tell you, like I said, a lot of people may not like this. They may leave, they may not go off, they may not be okay with it. But like I tell people, I'm who I am. I'm Pastora Janice Batista. I know who I am and what God called me to do. I'm okay eating at the table by myself. I'm okay if one day you like me and another day you don't. Because at the end of the day, I got real ones in my life. And my love for God is on fire. And ain't nobody gonna turn that off, okay? So people may be like, oh, you too arrogant, you too arrogant. No, the problem is that I'm too real. And it's getting to a point where it's like you gotta talk to people straight so that their soul can line up, right? Because the Bible that you reading, it should be the same Bible I'm reading, right? So if you look at the Bible, look at what happened to Ananias and Safira, right? When they was in the when they tried to scheme God, the God that we serve, right? What happened to them? It wasn't what the disciples wanted. You think the disciples like, yo, you think I want people to have broken vehicles? No. You think that I want people? And like I told y'all, for those of you that ain't seen my last video, look at my house. Don't think that I'm on here doing this for money, because I'm not. My bills get paid 7 years for the glory and grace of God. I haven't had one necessity, because God looks out for my needs. So anybody who even thinks that, oh, there she goes, everything is about money, that's why I don't go to church and that's all I hear, I don't want to hear none of that. Because at the end of the day, y'all not stopping my money flow. The only one that can stop my money flow is God. My husband works and he gets paid, and every week we jump in tax brackets every week, and I say that with a humble heart because I'm thankful to God. But I'm telling you what I've seen, what I've been seeing with my eyes, what these two eyes have been seeing, and how people been trying to play the house of God. And it comes a point in time where God is going to raise up prophets to say something, because he loves you so much and he doesn't want you, right, to perish. Everything that we got, we're not taking it with us. Y'all saw my house? I'm not taking my dining room sets with me. I'm not taking my sofas with me. My purses ain't going with me. My nails ain't coming with me. My hair ain't coming with me. Nothing that I got, or nothing that we got, brothers and sisters, we not taking it with us. So those of you that like to look at things that I'm saying from a carnal point of view need to reevaluate your Christianity, yo. When I'm preaching, I like people to evaluate themselves and be like, yo, she's being honest and she's being truthful and she's being transparent. Like, yo, this thing hit me like a hammer, but yo, I needed to hear this because it's gonna help me be in line with God. It has nothing to do with blessing your pastor, man, because God is going to bless your pastor regardless. God doesn't need you to bless your pastor. God needs you to be obedient, okay? And I'm saying this because many of you don't come to my church. Y'all got your own pastor, but God wants you to be obedient with your pastors, okay? Because if you, let's say you got a problem with the man of God, right? And you be like, oh, I'm not gonna tithe because, like you want to make the excuses, right? Go to another church. Odds are you're going to be making excuses over there if you don't want to be obedient with God. You're always going to look for a reason to not give God what is due to give to God. And you see, God is not like Uncle Sam. Yo, let me tell you something. There's been many times where I could have been more faithful than I was, and I tried to scheme a little bit. And God showed me, because the same way I see God break other families' cars down, he did the same thing to me. Like, you think you all... Hey family, I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened, but the phone went into emergency mode, right? Because, the phone said that it was hot, but it's weird because I got the AC cranking right in front of me, and the AC has been cranking. But what happened is that the enemy... you see, these conversations, this is why I told you that I know that God is in the center of everything that I'm doing and everything that I'm saying, because the enemy is not going to want you to hear this message. The enemy is going to want you to continue being lukewarm right, and continue to have you being cold, right, for the gospel. God bless you, Miss Trina. He wants you to continue being cold, right, in the gospel. And God didn't call us to be cold. God called us to be on fire for his kingdom, right? So basically, like I was saying, you see what happened to Ananias and Safira, right? What happened to them? God ended up striking them dead because he wanted to make an example of them, right? He didn't do it because he hates us. He didn't do it because he hated them, but God had to use them to be an example, right? And I know that a lot of people may see my postings, yo, and they may get offended, and they may be like, yo, you know, you too hard, or, you know, is enough already? We got the hint and stuff like that. But no, when you really get it, something happens in your heart. Something transforms in your behavior. I'm not looking to be in your good graces. I'm looking for you to respect God. I'm looking for you to take your walk seriously. Because if I post everything that I post and it don't do nothing to you, then guess what? Then I'm posting just to win your like, to win you over. For what? That's why God says in his word, what does it profit a man to gain the whole world but then lose his soul in the process? What does it profit you to have nice cars, to have a nice house, to have beautiful clothes on your back? What does it profit you if everybody loves you? You ain't got no drama in your life, everything is perfect, and you live in that, you know, pretty life, right? And ain't no drama and ain't no problems, right? That's not what Christianity is. When you open up the Bible and you look at what the word of God says, yo, look at the way all of the disciples that we see in the Bible, look at how they all died. They all died in such a tragic death because our war is not against flesh and blood. It is against principalities. And when people rise up against men and women of God like me, is because they are led by Satan, because they know who I am and what I stand for. And I would never ask you to do something that I don't already do myself. So what do you mean by that, Pastora? This is what I mean by that. That what I get from the military is my money. What my husband gets from his work is his money, right? At the end of the month, we got to take 10% of what he makes in his money, and I got to take 10% of what I make with my money, right? So at the end of the month, we giving God our 10% each as a family to the church. So that's 20%, right? Now, if people, and I'm telling you from a pastor's point of view, yeah. So remember, I don't know which way you listening, but I'm telling you my point of view. We responsible for the rent there. We responsible for all the utilities. We responsible for all the bills there. And I'm not sitting here selling people the gospel to make them feel good and be like, oh, I got to be careful with what I say to people because I got to make sure that we able to pay that rent. No, I'm already that type of pastor where it's like, yo, God gave me a sword and it's off with their heads. I'm going to be honest and I'm going to be transparent and call a spade, and what's black is black and what's white is white and what's blue is blue and what's rainbow is rainbow. I'm going to be honest and I'm going to be transparent. If people don't want to give, right, in our church, I don't know about your church. If people don't want to give in our church their 10%, I preached it to them already. I'm not going to treat them different because they give. I'm not going to treat them different because they don't give. Because I'm telling you this from experience. Listen to me. I don't have people come into the church and give us a whole month's rent of church of offering. Okay, that it was paying the church rent, anything. But what did they want? They wanted positions. They wanted titles. They wanted things to be done their way. So what happened when they left? You can't be begging people. I'm not going to go behind them and be like, oh my God, what a heavy hit we got. They left and now we don't got the offering that they was given. If another pastor would have went after them. And matter of fact, the pastors where they was at was beasting after them, right? I'm not going to go through that. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole because I trust God. I've always trusted God and God has never failed me yet. And if there's a reason why God got me speaking on this, you can't say, oh, it's because all pastors always money. No, I don't need y'all money. Like I told y'all, I have a beautiful house. It's fully furnished. I got beautiful clothes. I got things I don't even wear. This has nothing to do with that. We're talking about bigging God's kingdom up for his glory and his honor, and being obedient with the things that God calls us to be obedient in. And I don't need a lot of amens in this video, because I know a lot of people, like I said, they may not agree, but I'm being honest and just testifying to what I've seen all these years. When people don't give their 10%, things happen. They lose their job, people get sick, things happen in their life. And it's because they don't give, they don't serve. There's a lot of things, because you could give all you want. You could be a faithful tither, a faithful giver. But guess what? If you don't pray and you don't fast and you don't got your prayer life and things in order, guess what? That's also equally as a hindrance to you being in obedience. Because even if you could give all day long, that's a whole nother topic. Okay? Because I'm talking about people giving God, crumbs. God doesn't need your money. God doesn't need it. Okay, he needs your obedience. Okay, so when I see that people are not obedient, right, with the things that they need to be obedient in, what does God do? God makes me and my husband, instead of giving the 20%, there's been months where we got to give 40%, 50%, 60%, right? So what do? I stay quiet about it, right? I don't say nothing to them. You see me beasting or treating them indifferently? No. So for 5 families that should have been giving only 10%, because me and my husband now gave 20%, and now we got to give 50, 60, 70, 89. Now we got to go and give a whole bunch more, right? It's okay. We go and we do it because it's our church. Our name is on the door. We're not going to get an eviction notice because of them, but God sees our fidelity. And what does he do? The next month, he'll go and somebody will give a $2,000 offering. Boom. Not only did he go and supply my needs and my husband's needs, but he supplied the needs of the church. And that is the God that we serve. And even people in our church, I tell them all the time, you call us mom and dad, right? And you look at us like your spiritual parents, but you want us to eat crumbs, right? What kind of person doesn't want to bless their mother and their father? Like, pastors sacrifice their marriages. Like, they sacrifice life with their children, and you want to give pastors crumbs. So that's why this topic has become so controversial today, because people who don't know anything about ministry are the first ones that want to yap off at the mouth. That's why a lot of y'all just sitting back and y'all just listening to what I'm saying. And maybe many of y'all gonna get it, and maybe many of y'all not gonna get it. But at the end of the day, I'm just sowing the seed. God and the Holy Spirit is going to give you wisdom. He's going to give you conviction when you go to your church. He is going to be the one dealing with you guys and dealing with your heart. Because at the end of the day, when I go grocery shopping, my cart is stacked. When I got 3 refrigerators. God has not left me without. And I don't say that to boast. I say that because I want you guys to live that abundant life. But if you think that you're gonna live that abundant life, by buying yourself Yeezys and being able to lavish yourself from head to toe, and give your pastors and give the church your measly crumbs, you're not gonna live in that abundant life. Because I don't know where they do that at. I don't even know what gospel you've been listening to or what gospel they've been preaching to you. But I'm here to preach to you today and tell you that tithing is biblical, 100% biblical. It is 100% necessary, because you know why? When we open up a church, or any pastor opens up a church, guess what? They don't get an easy pass on their electricity. They don't get an easy pass when it comes to paying the rent. They don't get an easy pass when it comes to paying the water. Okay? And that is the church's responsibility. So many people think that they could run the pastor down to the ground and it is his responsibility to figure it out. No, it is not. It is your responsibility as a Christian to be obedient, right, with the things that God has entrusted you with, whether it's your husband, whether it's your children, whether it's your finances. And you may not like to hear that this evening, but guess what? God didn't have me to jump on here to say this to you for it to fall on rocky ground. And I'd be damned if I'm gonna let the enemy steal the seeds that I plant in people. I'm not one of those pastors where it's like you're gonna remember what I said, and you're gonna and I'd rather you not speak to me again. But one day when you do open up that Bible and you do read it and you do see for yourself, because God honors people's obedience. Okay, there has been many people in the Bible where God honored their obedience and they were blessed because of it. So we cannot sit there and be like, oh, we believe in God and we so connected and we so connecting to the anointing and the grace of God, but we don't want to serve in the church. We don't want to give to God what needs to be given to God. We want to scheme God. That's why God is looking for what? Clean hearts before his presence. You see, Ananias and Safia, they didn't have clean hearts before God's eyes. They wanted to scheme the apostles. They wanted to scheme them. But before, the difference between the Christians now and the Christians back then is that before, they had such a love for the gospel that they were willing to sell their house. They were willing to sell it all and put everything at the feet of the apostles. So everybody had food. So everybody had medicine. So everybody had their daily necessities, right? This is what they did because they loved God. This is what they did because the gospel that was being preached to them was transforming their lives. And because they were so thankful and they were so, transparent with God, they wanted to please God. And they wanted, the disciples were moving with great power, with great anointing, with great everything. Why? Because they was in line with the Holy Spirit. They were in line. They were being transparent, and they were trying to turn people away from their wicked desires. We all have wicked desires. We all have sometimes things that we want to accomplish and things that we want to do. But if we have to gain things by scheming God and giving God crumbs like he's a bum, then we're not going to be able to obtain anything. That's why God said, before you seek anything, seek first my kingdom. Seek first my righteousness. And then everything else that you want, then everything else that you need will line up for you. So I can't lie to you and tell you that everything that I got is based off of my own strength and my husband's labor. It is not. Because when many people lost their job, my husband still had one. And he still had bonuses coming in. And he still had, we're not rich, but we ain't poor. There's times that we ain't got it. But guess what? God's been providing for us. And he's been faithful. But what do I mean by this? Everything that I've been able to get, everything that we have been able to accomplish is because we never scheme God. And it's not just because we pastors. It's because our heart, it may not be perfect, but guess what? In him, is worth it. In him, he saw something amazing and valuable in us that he entrusted us with this church. He entrusted us with the lives of people because he knew how important it was. Look at Nineveh. You think I want to be here talking about this? Y'all probably think, look, I'm in front of Walmart. Like, I got to go into the store. I got things to do and I got a grocery shop. Trust me, I got things to do and I'm like so busy. Y'all don't even know how busy I am. But guess what? God got me sitting here in this car talking to you guys about this because this is what he wants us to talk about, right? So what I was saying, you see how it just left my mind what I was going to say? You see how it just left my mind what I was going to say? I was going to say something powerful. You see how the enemy, I'm telling you, the enemy does not want y'all to hear this word. It has something to do with, you see how my mind, it just went blank, right? That's how the enemy, I rebuke the enemy in the name of Jesus, and I cover myself with the blood of Jesus, and I declare, Father God, right now that no weapon formed against me will prosper in the mighty name of Jesus. Father God, you see, it was right there on the tip of my head, right there, what I wanted to say to you guys. Okay, I know it wasn't the Anas and Safia. Oh, Nineveh. Okay, thank you, Jesus. Okay, you think it was easy for Nineveh to go and tell people and bring condemnation to the people and tell them, listen, God is going to punish you guys because you guys are not being obedient, because you guys are not repenting from your sins? No, that wasn't easy for Jonah to do. But what happened? God told them, go to Nineveh and I want you to say this to my people. But what happened? And look at how the phone died, and I got it on the charger. You see why I tell you this battle? I had the little instrumental. Y'all don't know. And look at what happened with, I have to hold this phone in front of the AC because it has said emergency or whatever, right? But what happened? God had to use Jonah, and Jonah was like, no, I'm not gonna go over there and preach this word to these people. These people are gonna eat me alive. And God was like, what was really gonna eat you alive is me. I'm gonna send this will to eat you alive because you're not being obedient to do what I told you to do. So basically, with what I want to sum up this video, okay, and I'm gonna put this to rest, because like I said, that lady, she must not have read, because if she really had a mind and she really had a heart for God, she would be aligned and in agreement with what I said. But because she didn't agree with what I said and she wasn't reading the thing, because if you think that it's okay for a woman to be lavishing herself up and giving God crumbs, then you obviously don't know the gospel. You obviously are living in the flesh, and you obviously need to be born again. So like I said, that's why I told her, Cinderella, congratulations, the shoe fits, right? So at the end of the day, moving forward, I'm gonna be preaching the gospel, and I may be getting on a lot of people's nerves, but at the end of the day, all I really care about is winning your soul for Christ. All I really care about is you walking in obedience, whether it's at our church or whether it's at the church where you at. That's all I care about. At the end of the day, I don't need to go out to lunch with nobody. I don't need to be on anybody's favorite list. I don't need to be on your favorite playlist. I don't care. All I care about is winning you over for Christ, and I want to see you in the kingdom of God. God wants to see you. I'm sorry, I was getting another call. He doesn't want us to be lost. He doesn't want you to be lost. He doesn't want any one of us to be lost. He just wants us to be in obedience. So at the end of the day, I'm going to end it with this. It is your responsibility to be obedient with God. Do not depend on your pastor to calculate what 10% is of your earnings. That's not his responsibility. His responsibility is to cook the word up for you guys in God's presence, and be obedient and be a good steward with the things that come into his hands. Your job is to be obedient and help that man or that woman accomplish on the earth the will of God. So if that means that you giving your 10%, you're going to be helping. You're not giving the 10% for the man or the woman of God to be getting rich, but they do, if they not working, they do got to make a living. So you can't be shiesty and be like, well, they ain't going to pay their light bill with my money, right? They could be out there working, but this is what I mean. People want pastors available 24/7, but then they complain when they got a full-time job because you're not being faithful, right? It's like even with my husband, right? The Lord's been putting that in our heart too. My husband soon is going to be in full-time ministry. Right now, I'm the only one doing full-time ministry. But I know we're going to grow to a capacity where my husband is going to have to leave his job and he's going to have to be dedicated to full-time ministry, right? But what happens when the church gets big? Then the wolves come. He leaves his job, he's obedient, and then what they do? They try to break the church apart. They try to take the people that tie. They try to look, and people just try to be very conniving, right? But at the end of the day, it's your responsibility to be obedient with God. And it's your responsibility, the same way you make a budget, and when you go into a store, before you buy you some shoes, before you buy the chuletas, before you buy the rice and the beans and the sodas or whatever, the cute bags, the shoes, whatever it is that you buy, it's not Pastora's responsibility to be telling you how you need to be obedient with God. It is your responsibility, because you say, oh, I love God. God, yo quiero ser tu voluntad. I want to do your will. God's will is for you to learn how to pray, learn how to fast, learn how to read the word, learn how to give your tithes and offering, your 10%, Learn how to serve in the church, in the community. That is your responsibility. And just submit. That is your responsibility. Not talk about the pastor. Not be looking at him. Don't be looking at their wig. No miren su peluca. No miren su arete. No miren su uña. No miren none of that. Your job is to go to church on Sunday. 1 day a week that God is asking you for. And if 2 days a week is too much, then just go 1 day a week. But at the end of the day, God is going to punish you. He's gonna punish us if we're not obedient. At the end of the day, nobody's gonna be able to escape God's fury. So God deserves our best, and make sure that whatever you give to God, if all you got to give is $1, give $1. Remember the widow that all she had was a little bit to give, and God looked on her offering more than what everybody else gave. But this has nothing to do with Pastora, she's so mean. Like, she don't even, if you only got $5, that's all you got. Nobody should be offended by that. But you know in your heart what you have to be obedient with. You know in your heart what you have to give to God. And you cannot use your pastor. I don't like the way he preaches. I don't like the way they talk. You cannot use them as an excuse. Because at the end of the day, if you don't like them, go to another church and be obedient there. But odds are, like I said earlier, if you go to 5 different churches and you don't want to be obedient in either one of them, well, guess what? Cinderella, the shoe fits. You're disobedient and you give God crumbs. And I'm sorry, I gotta say it just like I gotta say it just the way God puts it in my heart. Amen. So I love you guys. Make sure you share this video, and make sure you guys like my other page, Pastora Janice Batista, the public one. That's where I'm doing my videos. And like I said, I only did this video on this channel because God put it in my heart to do so. So I gotta go inside because I gotta go grocery shopping and I gotta get some stuff. I love you guys. Amen. To God be all the glory. Amen. Because God knows it's not what I be wanting to talk about. I gotta go in there grocery shopping, and my husband's calling me. I gotta do rehearsal. I gotta do so many things, man. But God knows I had to finish paying my bills. Like, my whole day went out of whack today with distractions. But God knows that people, you want a pastor that, I want a real man of God, a man that's not gonna compromise the word, a man or a woman that's gonna really teach me, a man that's gonna really lead me. And then when you see one in the flesh, you'll be like, God didn't call him. They're not qualified. Like, we just got to stop playing with God. At the end of the day, God deserves our best. And that means giving him the best with how we worship, giving him the best in how we serve, giving him the best in everything. In all the areas of our life, we need to be giving God the best, because at the end of the day, right, that's what he deserves, the best, because he's been so great. You know how good God is? He gives us a car. He gives us, we ain't got to walk. There's people taking the bus every day. You got gas in your gas tank. You able to go get your hair done. You able to go get your nails done. You able to put food in the fridge. Like, sometimes people don't give because the condition of their heart is not right. But when you give, is because you're thankful, and God is looking for thankful Christians. Amen. So I love you guys. Bendiciones.